I think is a very accurate way to start off this reaction video. So this is my reaction to the 2025 edition of the Iowa versus Iowa State Cyhawk rivalry game for football. Time's about 5:20, and that means I've had around 3 hours to gather my thoughts, so here they are, because, yeah. So, this game, very, very tough to swallow for me as an Iowa fan. This is one that we should have won. Again, and I've said that way too many times over the past 3 or 4 years, which is the frustrating thing here. So I'll start with the offense, which was my worst nightmare today. It came out flat, which is what we could not do when we went into Jack Trice, but that's what happened, and that is honestly, in my opinion, what lost us the game. The first 3 drives were essentially 3 and outs, and the worst part about those 3 and outs was it was predictable. Run, pass. And it was just not good, and when you're that predictable, they're going to cover you, and they're going to be ready for it. And I could also tell that the team as a whole was rattled by the environment of the stadium, and that doesn't normally happen, so I don't know what the deal was. There was even a play in the first quarter where Gill had a 15 to 20 yard gain easy, like he was open. Literally just, Gronowski put the ball on his hands and he just dropped it, and I felt like that was a very indicative play of how the first quarter went. And I don't know how we got out of the first quarter only down 6-0. It should have been probably 14, but props to the defense for that, and I'll get into that a little later. Now, Gronowski did settle in, and he looked a lot better this week. And it took until about the drive before halftime that they got it going, because the drive before halftime was a 16-play, 85-yard touchdown drive, which granted was more than the total yards they had in the first half up to that point, and it was capped by a Gronowski rushing touchdown. It had rhythm, and you could actually see what the offense could be if we decided to play like that all the time. But that's not how game goes, unfortunately. And honestly, the same thing happened when we opened the second half. We went on another long drive where it was runs and short passes, and there was a lot of rhythm. And when we're in rhythm, our offense is good and it works. But when it's not, that's when we run into our issues because of how old school we are with everything, which is a gift and a curse at the same time. And Stevens did knock that field goal through, so we were knotted at 13 at the end of the third quarter. Fourth quarter, the offense didn't really do much, unfortunately, and we kind of needed to do something to win that game, but we didn't. And something that really, really frustrated me was on the last drive of the game, Gronowski took 2 sacks, and you just, as a veteran quarterback, you have to know you can't do that. That is the one thing you can't do. You have to throw the ball away, and he took 2, and that really just killed us. And I think my other complaint from today about offense is the play calling. We called all these little shallow out routes and these shallow routes, and it just allowed their corners to sit back and not even have to worry about the deep ball. And that just limited our offense so much. But moving into the great spot of today was our defense. Again, fantastic. They started strong even while the offense gave us bad field position by holding Iowa State to field goals instead of touchdowns, and they're honestly the only reason we were in this game. The defensive line took over, especially after the first quarter, and really limited that Iowa State run game and pass game. Carson Shire was my defensive player of the game. He was a linebacker who I've been really high on this coming into this year, and he was awesome. He was all over the place, making great tackles. He had a couple TFLs. He was very key to that defense today. And we held Rocco Becht, who is one of the better QBs in the country right now, to just 134 passing yards. On any given day, that equates to a win. And I don't even, this defense is so good and so much better than I thought they would be, and just to see them let down by the offense, it's frustrating. And I just want to, again, reinforce that this loss is not on the defense. Special teams was a mixed bag today, which isn't normal for us. Stevens was money. He drilled both his kicks, and he did what he was supposed to do. Caden Weechand was rough today, really, really rough. He slipped on a key play that turned into an interception. He made a bunch of questionable decisions, including an unsportsmanlike conduct after the first freaking kick return of the game. And then he just didn't look comfortable. And like in the second half, he freaking took a kick. He let a kick bounce all the way to the 10 and then picked it up, tried to go left to right, and ended up back at the 5. And that's not something he normally does. So I don't know what his deal was today. And unfortunately, on the Iowa State special team side of the ball, Kyle Conradi freaking killed us again. He hit another 54-yard game-winning field goal. And I knew the second that he went out there, we had lost unless we could come back and score, which I didn't think we could. When you take a step back to look at this game as a whole, here's the frustrating part. Iowa State is a really, really, really good football team. Rocco Becht and his offense are great. Their defense is great. I legit think they are going to be the team that comes out of the Big 12 right now because they look that good and that they will be a playoff team. But the part that frustrates me is we had our chances to win this game. And if the offense had shown any production outside of the 2 long drives we had, we probably pull that game out. And this is for me where bigger questions start to sneak in a little bit. Like, the play calling is so outdated. I get Ferentz has stuff he wants to do and the way he wants to do it, and it works most of the time. But it's also so outdated that when it doesn't work and when they figure out how to stop it, we're screwed because we don't have any other options to go to. And it just does not, the offensive scheme is not modern whatsoever, and I think that's limiting in so many factors. And honestly, it's getting kind of to the point where I'm wondering, like, I know we're winning, or we're losing close games, but how long can we continue to stick with Kirk? I get he's going to get us 7-8 wins a year, but this team, and with the way Phil Parker calls the defense, this team could be a playoff team consistently. Like, we have to figure it out. And his style's worked for years, Ferentz has had, but again, I feel it's like holding us back, and that's where I'm the most frustrated. Like, if you look at any good to decent team in the country, if you look at the defensive performance today with the way they played, they're gonna win the game because their offense will do enough. Literally, if we had like 300 total yards today and it scored a touchdown instead of a field goal on one drive, we win. Like, it's just that simple. A good team with the defensive performance we got today wins the game every time. But right now, our offense isn't good enough to support our defense, and quite frankly, I'm really, really tired of that. Like, it's the same story I've watched for the past 3 to 4 years. Like, I don't know how much longer I can watch this because it's frustrating. Like, yes, winning games this way is not awesome, but it's winning and it's great. But you also have to understand that this style of football is not going to win as many games as you want to be. And if you want to be a championship program, you have to modernize. And I feel so bad for the defense because the defense is doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And they're playing better than I expected them to. And the offense just can't hold up their side of the bargain. And it's been that way for the past 3 years. And I feel awful. And I know that we could be that good as long as the offense played average, and they can't do that for whatever reason. As I said, props to Iowa State. Like, they definitely earned this win. They definitely outplayed us for most of the game. But again, as I just went on a mini rant about, it feels like the same old story for Iowa. And honestly, if we keep up this performance this year, we're going to keep running into the same issue. If they're going to figure out how to stop it, and we're not going to win a ton of games. Like, that's just how it is. So we really, really need to figure the offense out. I'm hoping next week against the UMass at 6:30 we can figure it out. But until then, I am going to just sit here in frustration, not really knowing what to do. Because there's only so much I can say. Because I've kind of stated everything about this already, and I think it's a collective on how all Iowa fans feel. So hopefully the offense is better next week, but until then, that's all I've got for now.